Hello everyone, I'm Sign1News anchor Vanessa Paloma Bajarnik. Here's a quick look at the top trending international news stories making headlines today. If you post an interesting comment about this update, we may add it at the bottom of the screen. In Paris, 3 people were killed and 1 critically hurt by a gunman who attacked a Kurdish community center. Police caught a suspect, a 69-year-old Frenchman who got out of jail only 11 days before for a racially motivated attack. The crowds gathered after the police tried to cordon off the crime scene. There was a little bit of arguing back and forth, and then eventually people started throwing things at the police, calling them murderers. Then they started burning garbage cans and other things in the streets. The police and firemen showed up. The police had to protect the firemen because the demonstrators were throwing things at the firemen. Eventually, everything calmed down. China faces a new COVID crisis. COVID cases have surged and have begun to overwhelm crematoriums after the end of the country's zero COVID policy. Images on social media show a long line of cars waiting to get into cremation areas and funeral homes. Vans carrying bodies stretch into the distance in front of some crematoriums. And families stand and wait in their mourning clothes at some funeral homes. They have no idea how long they have to wait before their loved ones can be cremated. A new study by Hong Kong researchers estimates nearly 1 million people in China could die from COVID if the country does not take necessary public health measures, like increase vaccinations. In Afghanistan, dozens of students and female activists gathered near Kabul University to protest the Taliban decision to ban university education for all female students. The Taliban's decision is the latest step in a crackdown on the freedoms of Afghan women. Little girls were banned from entering and returning to secondary school in March. There has been widespread condemnation from the international community who say education is an international human right. And the decision to ban education is a huge blow to women's rights. German courts found a 97-year-old former Nazi secretary guilty of war crimes in one of the last Holocaust trials. The woman was found guilty of aiding in the murder of more than 10,000 people between June 1943 and April 1945, at the Studov concentration camp in Poland. She was tried in a juvenile court chamber because she was a teenager at the time of her crimes. She was given a 2-year suspended sentence. The woman told the court she was sorry for what happened and regretted that she had been in Studov at the time. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky posted a video from his Kyiv office after returning from his historic trip to the United States this week. During his trip to Washington, D.C., Zelensky met with President Joe Biden and addressed the U.S. Congress. He asked lawmakers to place more sanctions on Russia. In the video, Zelensky wished everyone good health and said the country is working for victory. He closed the video with the message, "We shall win." Here are the first official images of the banknotes featuring Britain's King Charles III. They were unveiled by the Bank of England Tuesday. King Charles III is only the second monarch to be featured on British banknotes. The portrait will appear on the 5, 10, 20, and 50-pound notes. The new banknotes are expected to enter circulation by mid-2024 and will mingle with notes featuring Queen Elizabeth's portrait, which will remain legal tender. The first coins featuring the king entered circulation earlier this month. Sign1News will be broadcasting international news updates every Sunday. A big thank you to our Sign1News app supporters. You help make this broadcast happen. You can download the Sign1News app by heading to the App Store or Google Play Store on your smartphone. And you can also watch on Apple TV, Amazon, and Roku. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.